Yo. Uh, I don't think I had my mic turned on, did I? Oh, there it is.
Yo.
Okay, we got that going. Let me share this for the millions of people that want to watch it, and then we're set. All right, and I'm getting a text message like usual. Pretty much every time I jump on here, I immediately. Randy says, "Here we go, best part of my day." I hope not. I hope there's much more fantastic things going on than listening to me run my stupid face on YouTube for your sake. Oh my. Let me check this message and we'll get into some shit. Yeah. All right, let me plug my phone in too. There we go. All right. Now I'm ready. Yeah, we're supposed to Randy, you supposed to get hit with any crazy snow up there? We're supposed to get some bullshit here. I'm hoping it's not. A lot of times they exaggerate. I'm hoping this is one of those fucking times that they exaggerate because I fucking hate winter. Completely hate winter. I have to treat all my cats for fleas. My cats managed to get fleas in the dead of winter. I think a mouse came inside or something and they got it. And then out of nowhere, I didn't even know they had fleas until one of my cats, a bunch of its hair just randomly fell out. So I've spent the last day and a half learning about like flea allergy dermatitis or something. So I don't know. One of my cats has some sort of fucking flea saliva fucking allergy. And a bunch of its hair fell out, and that's how I found out my cats managed to get fleas in the dead of ass winter. So that's awesome. So I got all the front line coming for that to treat. So yeah, did a lot of there's projecting 1 to 2 feet here. Man, I hope we don't get no 2 feet. I don't really give a shit about a foot. Yeah. You guys got hit pretty hard up there. We got smashed a few days ago. Supposed to be 11 inches this weekend. They're calling for another 14 to 16 inches of snow. That's gay. That's horrible. That sucks. The older I get, the less I like winter. Man, I tell you, like I used to not mind it when I was younger. Now I just fucking hate it. I need to. I don't know. And weather's so weird everywhere now. It's like I don't know. South of PA, I guess it's supposed to get ice and snow, and they're not. I heard like even like as far down as Georgia is supposed to get hit. They are not used to getting hit with that kind of shit. But hopefully it doesn't hit too hard because I don't feel like seeing it or dealing with it or experiencing it in any way. And I forget where I put my snow shovel, so I gotta go find it. I think it's in my basement somewhere. So, yeah, so what do we got going on today? Oh, we got what? Negative 25 before wind chill here tomorrow? Fuck that. Fuck that. Yeah, dude, it was cold. It was cold here the last few days. It was warm this morning. I didn't know it was supposed to be warm out today, but yeah, this morning it was pretty warm out. So it wasn't quite warm enough to melt everything, but I don't know. I just hope we don't get hit. The news usually just like scares everybody, so I'm hoping that they're just trying to scare everybody and we get half or less of what they're saying. So let's hope. Let's hope for that. So yeah, all right. So what topics you guys want to get into today? I uh I jumped on. I've been editing all day. I didn't even have anything in mind. I was like, oh, I looked at the clock and it was, I'm running late. I think I want to move this to 6 o'clock though. If everybody thinks that's acceptable, I do think I want to move this to to whatchamacallit to 6. I think 5:30 might be just a hair too early. Plus, it'll irritate Garrett on Wednesdays because I think he starts at 6. So just to be a dick. Yeah. Don't want to make too much progress as a person. I gotta keep it real a little bit. Um, but yeah, no, we're waiting to see. I just sent over the next 2 episodes of Breeding 101 for Spencer on Coiled Retic YouTube channel. So you guys might want to check that out. We uh, we did 1, 2, and 3 now. So 2 and 3 will be coming out soon. And that's basically, if you didn't watch the first one, basically what it is that initially I was going to do like a how to breed retic series, but since Spencer is first season breeding, we're just basically he's just kind of documenting his progress and then kind of like bouncing ideas and questions off of me as we talk about it and as he goes through this breeding season. So it's been pretty good, and I hopefully it helps some people out. Um, so he's to the point of having snakes actually breeding now, so that's good. And yeah, hopefully everything goes well and goes the full distance, so we can have this whole series go from step one to hatching out babies. I think that'll be cool for especially new people that have a lot of questions and don't really know what to look for and stuff like that. I think that'll be super helpful. Besides generator, how do you protect your collection in a power outage? Mostly just the generator. I also have little propane heaters. You just got to be kind of careful. You got to be kind of careful with propane heaters because they do kick off carbon monoxide, which almost killed me and my whole family one time. That was awesome. Um, yeah, so you do have to be careful with that. But I mean, if your snake room's big or if it's not too big of a propane, you don't got to worry too much. How much smaller will a Bantayang stay Sola get than a regular Sola? AI, you talked about it a few times, but I don't know if you mentioned a significant difference. I don't know of any significant difference between um, your just regular solas across the board. That whole Dwarf Bantayang stuff, that's all based around Garrett saying some shit and a single male out of only 10 that's ever came into the country that was kind of on the smaller side. Um, the reason how Garrett's trying to kind of group that in with the Bantayangs, he's not exactly calling them dwarfs or anything, but he's just kind of like insinuating it because when they did that study, I think in 2002 or whatever it was, they had snakes from um, Solaire and up into the south west part of Sola, which is Bantayang region. And when they did the taxonomy on it, like it came up like, oh, okay, these are very similar, which they are. And to be honest, I think stuff up from Pin Rang actually looks a little closer to Solaire's visibly, some of them do, than even the Bantayangs do. Um, but they didn't have one of those, so they didn't study it. Um, but no, they just seem to be average size. It's really the Palapo region and some of that central Palau region of Solo where it seems they get pretty big. And Solo is really some sections of Solo are really cut off from each other. So they actually have quite diverse fauna. So, one section of Solo will have much larger prey items or much a lot more villages and stuff like that or people to eat because they do like to eat people. Um, so that's one of those things. Like, and there's no reason to think that Bantayangs aren't just mainland size, generally speaking, because even Bhutan and Muna, they're not giant islands, but they're not small islands either. They've had, I think Bhutan and Muna have both been documented to eat people. So dwarfs can't eat people. They have to be rather sizable to actually eat a human being. So yeah, there's that's all hype based around some goat line nonsense, and it's literally just reach out reptile marketing. I do think like I do think ChatGPT or Gemini or something will say some stupid bullshit about it. Yeah, I think they will. But yeah, I saw Garrett just released another Karampa video. It's like I thought I was kind of exaggerating. I was like, there could be 6 clutches of Karampas. I'm starting to think there's going to be more like fucking 14. You know, if Garrett hits 3 to 5, you know, there's basically everything covered there. So they better figure out what to do on them prices. But a lot of that shit won't actually even hit the market. A lot of it won't even be for sale. So yeah, Randy, I gotta get a feeding or two. As soon as those snakes shed, they'll be ready to go for you. So probably probably about 2 weeks. They should both have shed within 2 or 3 weeks and have eaten. Yeah, Karampas are neat. Like they, I tell you what's neat about Karampas. I didn't like them enough to keep them when I had them, but something that is impressive about Karampas is how friendly they were out of the wild. They were just like when I got them in. I didn't have very many. I only had like 5 or 6, but they were like dog ass tame. They just came out of the wild, just friendly. They all ate, frozen thawed. Like they were, you know, if somebody who that wants a small retic, I mean, a Karampa is a really good choice. Just just based on their demeanor out of the wild, it was pretty impressive. And the Kalatoas and Madus were did not have honestly did not have the same demeanor. They had a much different demeanor. Yeah, more of an asshole like demeanor. But yeah, the Karampa stuff, man, I don't know what it was with those. They were just pretty friendly right out the gate. So, and everybody insists that is genetic, which it very well could be, because Halmas are not friendly out of the wild, and they are not friendly as F1s out of the egg. I can tell you that. So I guess we'll have to see how the F2s hatch. If I don't know if anybody's, I don't think anybody's going to have F2 Halmas this year. There might be, but if somebody's doing it, I don't know who's doing it. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I thought I was going to have a clutch at, speaking of Super Doors, I thought I was going to have a female drop today. I went down and checked on her a few times, and I was actually trying to stay out of the room today because I thought she was going to drop last night. And I checked her this morning and she didn't drop, and I just checked her a couple hours ago, but she's really looking like she's going to start spitting out eggs any second. And yeah, I'm waiting on that turn 8. I have a turn 8 marble clutch that it's coming any day now too. She was running around. She's back tiled, coiled up real tight. And I don't know anybody who's not bred, or anybody who has bred. They can tell you like a week or 10 days before the females drop, they kind of start running around their cage a lot. Not always, but a lot of times they get pretty active, and then all of a sudden they just get very inactive, and then they usually that front half of them sinks in. It looks like somebody's dehydrating them, and then usually a few days after that they lay eggs. Usually when you see them really start to like shrivel up in the front half, it rarely ever goes more than 7 days. It's usually like 3 to 5 days, 4 days, somewhere in there, and that's when they drop. But usually about 10 days before is when they start running around their cage in circles like assholes. Or they stay in one spot and just kind of keep going like this. Yeah, I don't know if they're kind of like loosening up the eggs, or what the hell's going on, or if they're just kind of getting themselves ready. So, and then the Super Dwarf had anthrax, man. That snake. I hope that motherfucker lays good eggs. I'm gonna be so pissed if it doesn't. Super pissed if it does. But not really. I'll get over it. I will get over it. So, Randy, you're taking that male Indo Sun Super Tiger too, right? Plus the Halma male, if I'm remembering correctly. Those 2 males and those 2 girls. So But yeah, let me know if you guys want to hit any topics today. Um, I'm probably going to do a breakdown video of the whole prehistoric pet, saying that we had they have dwarfs that are only going to get 4 to 7 feet. Because I also saw some of the chats on it where people were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And they were just lying. So if they're going to put out information that bad, I'm gonna have to address it. You know, I mean that's the entire reptile industry should kind of come after Jay for putting out information that bad. You know, it looked like, and the funny thing was, it looked like a pretty big clutch with decent sized eggs. And like, oh, these are dwarfs. They're only going to get 4 to 7 feet. It's like, what the fuck? Retic only gets 4 feet. You know, it's like, why would you just make shit up like that? So that tells me they're planning on dumping those on the U.S. market. You know, and even if they're not dumping it on the U.S. market, if they're dumping it on over the overseas market, it's still super fucked up. Like, why would you make up some bullshit like that? You know, and Jay's built up such a large following through his clickbait bullshit that you know, there's a lot of people that will just believe that, like, oh, it's a super dwarf. And the funny thing was, they were showing the babies. The babies were like 2 foot long already. So it's like, okay, so over the course of its life, it might only double in size. Like, get the fuck out of here. Prehistoric Pets is a fucking cesspool of shit. I mean, it's honestly, it is just everything that the reptile industry does not need. It's sensational, agitating animals, lies to sell animals, retic puppy mill. I mean, it's just everything that is shit, you know? Well, yeah, the snakes they were shown were 2 feet hatching out. And they're like, oh, it's only going to grow, you know, maybe 2 more feet, or, you know, after that, or maybe 5 more feet total. It's like, why are you even. Yeah, but that's the fucked up thing. People will believe them. I mean, everybody believed Garrett when you know, everyone still believes Garrett. Not everyone. A lot of people still believe Garrett when he says, "Oh, my 50% super dwarfs are such small bloodlines. They're only gonna get you know 7 to 9 feet because I don't know. Apparently, reality doesn't exist in his bloodlines, and nor does cause and effect of genetics. So that's fucked up. So yeah, Randy, we were talking about how we need to do a retic fest at my house. So if we set that up, since you're pretty close, you'll have to come down. Spencer said he would fly out. Eric Lee would probably fly out. Andrew's here all the fucking time anyway, so he'll be here. Sean will come up. He's here pretty often too. So probably invite a couple. There's some other retic breeders in Pennsylvania that I didn't even know were here. I guess Anunnaki's here. I didn't even know that till just recently. I'm not sure where they're at though. You know, then there's some people not too far away, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia. So maybe we'll set that up. Maybe if we'll try to do it this summer. If not, we'll do it next summer. Yeah, we'll have to do that next summer. If not this summer, we'll have to see how it goes. We'll have to try to plan it around. Well, the best thing to do would be to have a clear Central PA retic fest the same weekend as Garrett. So a lot of people that are down there can also swing up because Rob tends to come up for that. So he could swing up here for a day because it's only about a 2 to 3 hour drive. So, but yeah, yeah. What topics do we want to hit today? Anybody got any? What's up, Brian? We were just talking on Spencer's. Yeah, yeah. Definitely make the trip up. Yeah, because I might try to set that up. I don't know if we'll be able to do it this summer. It depends how busy everything is. Depends on what's going on with hatchlings and selling and breeding and all that bullshit. Because sometimes summers are slow, and then sometimes like if you got a lot of late clutches, you're hatching shit out. You're still pushing animals. Yeah. You want to go to both? Yeah. You want to go to Retic Fest Pittsburgh and Retic Fest Central PA. Well, see, here's the thing about Retic Fest. Retic Fest is there's a lot of Carpet Fest and Colubrid Fest and Croc Fest, and all it is a bunch of breeders getting together and hanging out. Garrett's Retic Fest. It's the only fest in reptiles where it's essentially one person bringing in customers to market to them. Like all the other fests in reptiles is just like breeders getting together to talk about shit and hang out for a few days. But yeah, leave it to Garrett to market it towards only himself. But that's the other reason I'd want to actually do a retic fest is because or something like that is so it is just a bunch of keepers and breeders can hang out and you don't have to come here and have to listen to me explain why you need to buy all my snakes. You can just hang out and talk to people. Man, there's so much bullshit on Instagram. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, yeah, because I wouldn't even have it at my house. I'd probably have it out at my dad's because there's uh, quite a bit of property out there. It's a lot of, it's like I think he's got 30 acres, and then connected to it, there's another 1,200 that's just fucking littered with timber rattlesnakes everywhere. There's all kinds of shit out there. There's elk running around out there right now because they come in from a place called Benazet, and I'm actually starting a I'm starting a lens review YouTube channel for so I have something to do on the weekends. Basically, to go out to my dad's and just walk around in the woods and take pictures because I have like 60 lenses for no reason. So just to make something other do something other than snake shit, I'm gonna do a lot of like vintage lens reviews. Um, yeah. That Brian, that would be about a 2 day drive straight for you. Um, so I'm gonna be spending a lot more time on that property. Getting pictures and testing out lenses and camera shit. So that way I can go get exercise, hiking, and get content at the same time. How many lethal morph combos are there? I have no idea. I know GC to GC does make a goofy snake, but I don't think all GC to GCs have been total train wrecks. To be honest, I had an all black, basically an all black retic that Hippie Jonathan had that he'd got from Nerd, and man, that flayed his fucking arm open bad one day, and then he ended up letting it go. I bred it to a purple, um, and I bred something else to that purple, but I had got a split clutch, so I never was actually able to prove what all was in there. And I know there has been like some head deformities, but I don't know if anybody's taken like any super. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do this, but I'm not sure if anybody's taken like some really outcrossed golden children, that's been like 5 generations bred into like all these localities, and another one is 5 generations bred into all these other localities, and bred them together to see what they actually produce and see if they make a fucked up snake. Um, maybe somebody could try that and see, because I mean that snake I had from that was originally produced I think by Andy up at Nerd. I mean that motherfucker was black. I have pictures of the fucking thing breeding somewhere. Um, and then the Lucy's the lemon glow is kind of fatal-ish. I mean there are healthy Lucy's out there, but they don't have the best survival rate. And Robert Uvino wrote a good paper on all the shit he researched on leucism, and I think the end result was he found that the pigment is getting shut off very early in embryonic development, uh, before the because like when things like split off, they kind of like unfold and then they grow and they do all that shit. Well, apparently, whatever has to deal with peristalsis and like that muscle that pushes food through the digestive tract of retics. At some point, that's essentially connected to pigment development, and the leucism shuts off the color before those two things separate. So they kind of both get shut off at the same time. So I don't know. It'd be nice if eventually we do end up with a healthy line of leucism. Um, and I think I honestly, with there being so many platinum like snakes, and you see how many white snakes have come to be in ball pythons, I think eventually we'll see a healthy line of leucism, like true leucism. Um, because I like the ultra ivories, but the ultras don't seem to have that issue. They really don't. Um, but unfortunately the lemon glows, they do. I Rob had made a lot of Lucy's, and he had a pretty high. I think he had a 50 plus survival rate on his. Um, but yeah, the Super Jag. I think the Super Jag is lethal. I've never seen one, but I heard they're like a fucking disaster. So I don't even know what one looks like, but supposedly they're just this giant fucking mess. So there's that. Uh, a lot of Jags are a mess, not in the super form. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up there. I suppose someone could ask Sal. I think Sal did them, and they were just a total nightmare, just not even functioning. Uh, isn't Super Phantom similar? Not really. I don't know if anybody. I've heard of more people having stomach issues with OGS than with Super Phantom, but the Super Phantoms have seemed to be pretty solid. At least the ones that have been outcrossed into a lot of the Super Dwarf shit have all seen. I know Andrew has never once had any complaints about Super Phantoms having any kind of similar issues as the leucistics. So yeah, I would hopefully a line of platinum pops up in somebody's collection, and it ends up being a later stage shut off, and we get some fucking healthy Lucy's. Because man, could you imagine making like a high percentage super dwarf Lucy? Dude, you could never make enough of the fucking things. You could make 200 of those a year, and there'd be 300 people trying to get them, you know. Dude, if you could make a legitimately manageable size Lucy, something 12 foot, maybe a little under, fuck. That'd be like printing gold, financially speaking. It really would. Because I mean, I know I'd buy one. I made the first sun glows. I made the first it was a long time ago. I made the first lemon glow sunfires, because I was the one that was running my mouth about Lucy's having a higher survival rate, the lemon glows in Indo, than the snakes making the platies making Lucy's here in the U.S. No, no, Super Phantom is technically not a Lucy. Like if you see a true leucistic next to a Super Phantom, the Super Phantom doesn't look anywhere near as nice. The Super Phantom isn't anywhere near as white. Like on the true Lucy's, those things are just absolutely bright snow ass white. I mean, there's no shading, there's no tinting, there is nothing. I mean, it is literally pure fucking white. They are super ass impressive. Like they really are. And then they got those black ass eyes, and I think they actually have a red pupil or something too. So they're pretty neat. Phantom Pods got the tiny eyes. Yeah, I think it's the Phantom that have them. Does What happens when you breed the OGS? Do you get the tiny stupid eyes with the white snake too? I don't know. That's what's so weird about like the white snakes that are like so weird about Phantom and OGS and all the different white snakes that they can throw out there, and we have no idea what's going on. We don't know if they're allelic, working in a super gene, if they're non-allelic, shutting off different parts of fucking color in different places, not even sitting on the same Same chromosome. We don't know what we're doing. We just think we do. Is there any gene that works well within super motley? Probably. Well, it depends what you're trying to make. The problem with the super motley is, um, the you think it would work well with something like Indo Caramel, and it really just basically makes a silver snake. There's some kind of, for some reason, the motley combined, well, super motley combined with some of the T positives, and GC does this to some extent too. It's creating this weird color shift out of the oranges and yellows, and you're not getting, for some reason, you're not getting those anymore, and you're ending up with these weird silverish tan looking goofy snakes, and you're not getting those vibrant colors like you would expect, because you'd really expect more yellows and orange and something like that, and you just don't get it once you get into the darker T positive shit. Yeah, my Super Phantom has a red pupil. Yeah, I don't think, I don't know if Super Motley Anery's been done or not. I mean, it might go well with Mocha. It might make it super silver. You might be able to make like a super silver Mocha. But yeah, there's unfortunately, because you'd think a supermodel, like a Indo supermodel, would just be this like glowing orange snake, and I have one downstairs. It's this glowing ugly snake of fucking like weird silver. It's honestly ugly. Yakub has have a new line of Lucy, if I recall. Sadly, it is over the pond. You can hope on some Clark magic. I don't know. Does he have a new line? I haven't talked to Yakub in a while. I should hit him up to see what the fuck's going on with him. I haven't talked to him in a while. Um, I will say I have a weird snake that may or may not prove out to be something. It looks like it has characteristics of both a Sunfire and a Platinum, but doesn't look like either. So maybe I got a new line of Lucy. I just got to prove it out. Yep, Halma Orange Glow. Oh yeah, the Super Motley GC gets those awesome orange colors. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, there's some weird color shifting happening with T positives with some of these Motley and GC genes. It's just not throwing anywhere near the color you would expect. It's completely shifting into a different range of color than you see with the Clark strain. I wonder what I guess a Rennick Ghost Super Motley might look nice. It might be like super white. Somebody could try that. Super Motley Rennick Ghost. Has that been done? I doubt it. Just make shit super ass white. I'm guessing, I think Super Motley is probably the high white, is probably the reliable way to make high white pods. Any problems with super marbles? Other than they don't look as good as regular marbles, I'd say no. But that's kind of funny you brought that up, because I've been thinking about trying to make a super marble, because so far all the super marbles have been like, eh. But are they fucking shitty because of the polygenic traits and not necessarily what a super marble is? I mean, if it's a double reduction of black that you're already getting from the marble gene, even with that, if you have enough of an aberrant pattern and enough black, that you could probably get like a super speckly, goofy looking snake. But even if it didn't look good, it'd be nice to have all those polygenic traits to make crazy ass marbles in the super form, and you'd be like, oh, here, just breed this, and you get a whole clutch of crazy ass looking marbles. So so that would be. I've honestly been thinking about trying to make crazy looking super marbles. I got a female Andrews. I didn't hold, like an asshole. I really didn't hold any females back. But maybe if Andrew doesn't want to do anything with that um, marble he's got, I'll fucking get it back from him and tell him to make some super marbles. Because I know he's in Peru right now, and I know that female was still eating before he left. She hadn't went off food yet. What gene combo do I like most with Aztec so far? I don't know, because so far I haven't. There's only been a handful of Aztecs I've been impressed by. I think an Aztec. I think there's a chance that an Aztec marble ocelot's gonna look good. I really think like I don't know, it might stripe it out. I can't say, but I think has anybody done Aztec Bali blacktail yet? Has anyone done that? Because an Aztec Bali blacktail might look nice, and I also think an Bali blacktail ocelot will look really nice too, as long as you can get away from some striping. I like the genetic stripe Motley Sun Aztec. I think somebody sent me some pictures of something like that that looked neat. Yeah, there was I think it was Orange Glow Motley Tiger Aztec that was really nice. That snake was really nice. Then there was a crazy snake. Hold on. There's a crazy snake in Indo. I think it was Harlequin, Marble, Aztec, Orange Glow, fucking something, something. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Uh, where the hell is it at? Yeah, of course, like an asshole, I didn't take a picture of what was all in it. But no, I mean, this is probably. Oh, this was this had the Klawau or something in it. I don't think this had Aztec in it. So maybe that gene mixed with Aztec might be off the charts crazy. Might be off the charts fucking crazy. What the fuck is this? Come on. What's my thing being a piece of shit for? No. All right. So yeah, Bob Clark. Yep, that's who we need. Okay, weird question. Who actually polices the importation of animals into the country? Is it just U.S. Customs or is it some other department? How illegal is it really to import them now? Jail's fine. Okay, so what happens? We have something called CITES. It's an acronym for something that I don't know. Look it up. It's just spelled like cities, basically. And that is an agreement of over 100, I think it's like 130 some countries that if they will adhere to each other's laws. So like if when the US said you can't ship retics anymore because Indonesia is part of the CITES agreement, I think it's also technically illegal to ship retics from uh Indo into the US. Like you can't, like they'll abide by it. Like you can't, they just won't do it legally. So the fines on that, I think I don't think it's much if you get caught just like doing one animal. I mean, if you're just blatantly breaking the law of like 100 animals and if they hit you one time, you're probably not going to jail. But you can do a year. You can do a year in this, and the fines are pretty hefty. But there's so many ways to get hit with those fines. Like if somebody was to steal your animal and then you broke into their house and stole it back and then took that animal across state lines, you're technically in a Lacey Act violation situation because how you reacquired your animal was by illegal means. Like there's all kinds of dumbass rules you can actually break that gets you into Lacey Act violation territory. So yeah, but that's part of Fish and U.S. Fish and Wildlife are the ones that have all of that take care of all that. So that's on the federal level. Yeah, yeah, you definitely don't want to end up in an Indonesian prison. I don't know. Indonesians are pretty nice. I I don't. They're, they're probably there's probably a lot more rape and murder going on in U.S. prisons than there is in Indonesian prisons. I don't know. Maybe not. Some of their prisons might be pretty rough, but um, I can't see them being too awful. Make friends with tunnels and in Mexico. Yeah, that's how everything else comes in. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the berm situation cost us retic importation. And there's never, and I'm actually worried about the whole bullshit down in Puerto Rico because it's technically a U.S. territory. And I mean, like, well, a drug dealer in Puerto Rico left all his snakes go, so we better make it so you can't take your snakes across state lines in the, you know, in the U.S. because that would make fucking sense. That would just solve so much crime. That's the stuff I worry about. Is them using and Fish and Wildlife has been pushing for years to get Lacey Act amended because when USARK in their infinite wisdom focused on uh, didn't focus on the arbitrary and capricious listing and focused on interstate commerce, they made it so everything on the Lacey Act could legally go across state lines unless it was regulated within a state that it was being trafficked into. So USARK was on it. Kick that fucking can down the road and just was like, here you go, guys. Enjoy these problems in 5 to 10 years. The only reason we haven't lost interstate commerce, and I know whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump, honestly, the only reason we have not lost interstate commerce is because of Trump. Because they put so much effort into going after him, or he does crazy shit like kidnap presidents of other countries and whatever he's doing with fucking Greenland now. Like, there's just always like some circus fucking going on, and that shit almost, that shit was gaining some speed under fucking Sleepy Joe. So, if the reptile industry is intelligent, it will really start to get its shit together and start getting attorneys for every state on a payroll. That's what every state needs to do. Every state needs to have a state-run USARK type situation that's funded through the state, well, through the keepers of the state with an attorney on retainer. If someone wanted to do something illegal, the best way would be to ship it to Canada and drive it across one of those thousands of miles of unregulated borders. It's not a suggestion. Please don't, Bob. Something tells me Bob don't need to go the whole way to Canada to get that done. So, yeah, and I mean, yeah, so that's the one thing. If you do hatch out a new morph, you better document that shit because, with this selective breeding, I'm going to tell you right now, morphs are going to start popping up. And, just make sure you documented it because, if someone doesn't like you and you pop up a new morph, they'll be like, motherfucker, you smuggled that. They'll be like running their mouths on the internet. That's why every time I have something that I think can lead to a new morph, I'm like, here it is in the egg. Here's my breeding plans. Don't try to fucking say I was smuggling in new morphs. So, can you tell anery just by the eye color? Sometimes I see silver eyed aneries, and sometimes I don't think there is a true orange-eyed anery. I don't think any anery that's had orange eyes has ever actually proved out to be a true anery. Head anery, but not. I don't know of any true orange-eyed aneries because they can't have that. They cannot have any red. That's what anery does. It shuts it off. Never seen a true orange-eyed anery that actually proved out. Could ask Garrett, but he's just gonna try to sell you something. He's just gonna pivot away from the question and try to sell you something. So yeah, anybody working with anery, I'd start really try to selectively. I wouldn't even say selectively breed it, but just really keep really good track of it. What about a gold eye anery? I don't know. I've never seen one, but I'm sure that's possible. The eye colors, they come in a lot of different colors. That was the neat thing about ceriums. A lot of ceriums had two different color eyes, and their eyes would change. I had a lot of them that I ended up selling, but their eyes would change. They would, like, the top would be silver and the bottom would be orange. They'd have two different color eyes. They were really interesting. Well, eye colors can be all over the place. That's the thing. Like, they can. Did you? I don't know if you guys saw it, but they caught a couple retics with blue eyes. I don't know. There's not been many of them, but there's been a couple that have actually had blue eyes. Yeah, green. There's been a lot of green. Some of the solas will have green eyes. Green, gray, silver, almost white. Ceriams have silver on top and orange red on the bottom. Um, some of the ternates have goofy color eyes, real goofy. A lot of some of them, if you look close, they'll have some green in them. It's actually that fluid. It's not the yolk. It's the fluid in the whatchamacallit, in the egg. I have no idea why, but next time I hatch out a clutch of marbles, I'll show it. It is 100% green. It's just like I have no idea what causes that to be green, but it's such a weird thing. The thing that automatically makes a snake a marble is honestly it's going to be its head stamp. Because I hatched out a bunch of crazy marbles last year, and there was one that it was a marble, but I was like, is this a marble or is this not a marble? I mean, it was, but it was such a weird pattern. Its pattern got exaggerated in such a weird way. It looked like a really weird, exaggerated normal. It was very strange, but it was 100% a marble. But no, it's yeah, you'll know if you when you cut an egg because that shit does come out. It's like this weird green color. Very strange. Yeah, very strange. But yeah, any other questions? And how's everybody? Who wants to come on who's up for coming on whatever Wednesday? So Wednesday is going to be the day where I just throw a link on next gen, and anybody wants to come on and talk about shit can just just revolving door. Anybody can. I think I can have like 8 people on it up at one time. So um, if anybody's into that, let me know. We'll start that on whatever Wednesday. We'll jump on, talk a little bit, and then people want to come on, fucking, you can jump on and show off your snakes, talk about your breedings, whatever you want to do. Yeah, cause I figured that'd be, especially if people are hatching out clutches or they got stuff. Cool. We got one person. Yeah, and I mean, you don't have to, that's the thing. You can come on, hang out for 10, 15, 20 minutes and jump off if you want. And you know what I mean? It's like, you don't have to come on for fucking 2 hours and hang out or nothing. If you want to, that's also an option too. Just so I think that'll be good if we can start getting that going. More people coming in, more people getting comfortable with all of it, and jumping on and asking questions, talking about their snakes, showing their shit off, talking about what they're doing. Then it also makes my life easier and Spencer's life easier because then we don't have to set up a podcast and and record it and edit it and do all that shit. If people want to come on, because not everybody wants to come on and do a whole fucking podcast episode, but they might want to come on and show stuff for you know 10, 15, 20 minutes and then jump off. So yeah, so all right, so we got a couple people for next Wednesday can jump on, show their shit off. Yeah. Yeah, I figure we'll do that on Wednesdays. Wednesday will be whatever Wednesday. So anybody that wants to come on, talk about whatever, show off whatever, we'll do that. Where's Deron at? Deron's letting me down, man. Deron's been on here pretty regularly. Yeah, we got to find. Well, we got Weston and Paul coming on next week for an actual podcast episode, and then here you go. Show off some of them jams. Triple threat. We're talking about jams. Bill said he's looking for one, which is crazy that he hasn't been able to get one off Garrett. I thought Garrett had a decent amount of jams. So somebody from Triple Threat will probably be hitting you up for those. But yeah, we're at almost the hour mark. So anybody's got anything else they want to add? Any other questions? Throw them out there. We'll go over them. Yeah, we'll go over them. Imagine a green-eyed GC Motley. Yeah, that would look neat. That would look neat. I think like a real bright green eye on a anthrax would look nice too. That would be a neat snake. That would be a neat snake there. I need a drink. I'm losing my voice. My female mainland is around 8 feet 13 pounds, born April 2024. Is feeding her 2 pound meals every 3 weeks. Sound good. Um, I honestly, as dumb as it sounds, is I can't technically answer that because I don't weigh any of my food. So, uh, I mean, well, how's her growth rate been? That's the other thing. If you want if you want your mainland to grow, all you do is feed it. So, I mean, if she's growing steadily, um, I would say it's fine. If you want to if you want to breed her within the next year, you're gonna have to start hitting her every 2 weeks, maybe a 2.5 pounder. Then she'll start growing. What pure locality? Well, oh, Jesus Christ, I can't even fucking talk. What pure localities have anery show up in Jamp, Kaiwadi, Karampa? What else? So, the Kaiwadi ones are kind of questionable. I did have what appeared to be a anery Kaiwadi that's wild caught. Karampa, my old Madu line ended up proving out, and So we got Kalatoa, Jamp, Kalatoa, Karampa, Madu, Kaiwadi, and I'm sure Bonarate and Kalau. Those are the two islands right next to Jamp have them. Oh, and there was some questionable. There was I don't know if whatever happened to him, but there were some fucking Salayers that supposedly ended up throwing a weird anery line. Then there's been some anery stuff pop up in in Java and Sumatra, and then I had two aneries from that 75% turn 8 Motley Tiger clutch last year, but they were shit. Well, the Motley was a giant fucking turd and it didn't make it. And then the normal, it was hit or miss, but she I think it was a she ended up passing away. But yeah, I mean, so I saw that in my turn 8 lines. It wasn't pure turn 8, but I did have it show up in that. So, and I think Jay Gonzalez had something he was calling a graphite or something a while ago. I don't know whatever became of that, but it looked anathoristic. So I'm guessing it's a pretty common thing that's popping up a lot of places. I won't be surprised. Honestly, I won't be surprised if somebody breeds some F1 uh, Halmas together and throws some aneries, because not all of my Halmas end up with silver eyes, but all the ones that have silver eyes have a slightly look to them. They have a cleaner look. They have a lot more side banding. I'm not saying that you're going to get an anery, so buy snakes from me, but I'm not going to tell you that's not the case either. But I honestly will not be surprised whatsoever if anery shows up in my Halmas. I will not be surprised at all. They have, they have, it's hard to tell by looking at them, but they have what I would consider similar het anery markers that you see in some of the Superdor stuff. And some of them, and the ones that have it, all have the silver eyes. So wherever the hell that's coming from, I don't know. But I always every clutch of Halma's ever done has thrown some silver eyes. Mason's got a silver eye, female, I believe. So Anery Halmas would be insane for purple snows. Yeah, yeah, they would be nice. Definitely would be nice. So I'll be interested to see what. I was just cleaning that Halma's cage 2 days ago because she shed after having her clutch, and uh, yeah, I think she's got a weird look to her. Weird look to her. Her color, her pattern, how clean she is, her pattern outlining, side banding. Um, if there is an anery gene that comes out of that, it's definitely coming from her. It's not coming from the male. So sure, now I will have to get a silver-eyed female from you. Well, they're in the incubator. I'll let you know as soon as they hatch. But yeah, no, they're neat. I've had a couple that had almost. I should have kept them. I had a couple. Their eyes were so silver. They were like bright silver, like a whitish silver. They were really neat. I think you can. I think you might be able to find them in some of my old Instagram videos. So, but is there any other topics we want to hit before I jump off here and go make the dinner? Let me know. Let me know. I gotta send a text real quick. Oh my. So yeah, hit me with some questions if you guys got them or some topics. Do you allow payment plans on pure animals? I will. Yeah, I'll do that for you if you need one. And what are the terms if so? Usually whatever you need. Like I'm not gonna hold it for a year. You know, I'm not gonna hold it for a fucking year or nothing. Unless it's a lot of money. If it's like 20 grand, I'll let you do a 1 year payment plan. I'll just be like steady monthly payments. No, I mean it's usually yeah, I'm usually pretty easy to work with. I mean, I don't really like to go over 6 months. I usually like to try to keep it 3 4 months. I really don't like to go over 4 months to be honest. Just because in that 4 month time, I could technically most likely sold that specific animal or animals. So, but yeah, if you need a payment plan, let me know. It's no problem at all. Especially like I like doing payment plans this time of year because you can't fucking ship anyways. So I'm actually doing a payment plan with somebody right now on a Halma. So I can't fucking ship it for a month or two anyway. So what the hell does it matter? So yeah, what were you thinking? What were you thinking you were interested in? Which locality? Because I got the three main localities, and then I got some of the locality to locality crosses. I'm really excited about the Ternate Mindanaos. 3 months sounds more than fair. Definitely going to reach out. Yeah, hit me up. Refuse to get Ternates from anyone but you. Hey, well, this will be the first year you actually have that option. It was slim pickings unless you were going to buy them from somebody who was reselling them. Oh, really? Your helmet has golden eyes? That's cool. Ternate or Halma to put into Indo caramels? That's what I really want to see. Do you have an Indo caramel picked out, or do you still got to pick fucking scam calls? Um, do you have do you have a specific like look on the Indo caramels you're working with already, or you're just gonna start the whole you got to start everything. You got to start from scratch and buy everything. Where how far are you in that plan exactly? Does it make sense? Halma is goaded. I'll tell you what, out of nowhere, just Halmas have everybody's talking about Halmas lately. I don't know what the hell's going on. Does it make sense for some breeders to just focus on producing pure localities instead of more since the demand for localities increasing constantly? Um, I don't know. I think it's important for breeders that some breeders are going to maintain pure localities because, like, let's say there's a little bit of a Halma craze right now, right? Well, after everyone's gets tired of getting bit to shit for the first 6 months by their Halmas, maybe they don't want to deal with them anymore because it usually takes about a year for them to calm down. So I think the important for me the pure localities, the importance of breeding them is to make sure we have them. So I like there was no demand when I first bred super dwarfs. There was no demand for them. When I first bred ternates, no demand. When I first bred Mindanaos, there was no demand. When I first bred Halmas, there was no demand. So I've never bred any of these localities based on demand. So I can't recommend anybody else to do that. I rec, we need to have them. Like fucking Mason, he's breeding uh fucking Sumatrans and Balis this year. There's no there was never any real market demand for those. Now he's gonna sell them because there is like some underground demand for that stuff, but there's no like market demand for them. Um, but no, I mean, and the only problem with if people get into pure localities to try to here's the problem. Like we'll use that Brian Whitehead guy for an example. He thinks he's going to be able to capitalize on localities by producing a bunch of them. One, most of them don't have very big clutch sizes, and two, if he's not selectively breeding them, he's not gonna, he's not gonna be producing stuff that are gonna be in the same. They're gonna be nice, but they're not gonna be the selectively bred version. So, you know, localities keep them pure, and if you're going to be using them for other stuff to start unique looking lines, you have to do the selective breeding for different looks. That's really what you can do with the pure localities. I mean, yeah, the whole demand thing, that'll go up and down, but their value and what they bring to the table will stay constant. So that's what I would focus on. I'm starting. Okay, you're starting fresh. I have white lift scrubs and oddball shit like that, but I really like the locale type retics. What scrubs are you working with? I got to put my Halma scrubs together. Dude. They were breeding like crazy last year. I didn't get any fucking clutches. I ran three females last year, and two of them were breeding nothing, and my Timor pythons were locked up like crazy last year too, and I didn't get any clutches. I got rid of my white lips. I bred them. I got two or three clutches of white lips, and I ended up getting out of them. It was the northerns, not the southerns. I used to have a lot of scrubs. I used to have Tannenbar. I used to have Maruki, or whatever the fuck it's called. Clastos. Yeah, I still have the Halmas. Really like the Halma scrubs, and they're fine. There's a lot more similar. You know how like Barnecks kind of have like there's like a lot of different regional Barnecks. Well, it's looking like there's a lot of very similar looking Tracy eye scrubs because they're on Morarate. They're down by Bacan. I think there's scrubs the whole way into the central Malukus too on Taliabu, Sanana, and then that I think it's Mongoli. There's those three main islands in the central Malukus. It's looking like there's a scrub range the whole way down there, like the whole way from central Malukus, the whole way up to Morarate, which is the main decent sized island right above Halma, and then when for the central southern Malukus, that's where you get into the Clastos. So, whew. I have some crazy looking southerns. Oh, nice. They look very different from usual Maruks, though. Mine have patternless neck and also pattern down. Oh, that's cool with blank sides. I had one that was weird like that. I had a, I actually have I have my smallest female, um, a Tracy eye. She has almost like a stripe down her, the midway on her side, and then below that's like patternless. And she's my oldest. She's just the worst fucking eater. So the other two have blown past her over the years because I've had them not quite 10 years, but close to it. I tried to put them together the other day, and they were just being psychopaths, and the one pair bit each other, and I had to separate them because in an attempt to hurt me, they ended up hurting each other. So super friendly. Yeah, everybody's into those class those. I mean I like them. I like the Key Island, which seems to be kind of a some kind of weird version of class those. I like those. I like the really nice heavily patterned Arus, but I do like the shit out of the Malukus. I think there's a lot of potential. There's basically an all black one found on an island. I think it was next to Pecan or Obai. I forget which island it was. It starts with a K. I don't know how to say it. I have a video of it somewhere. Super like crazy iridescence, and the thing is like black. Can you still get import scrubs in? I'd love to find something that matches the phenotype of these others. Yeah, you can get all kinds of scrubs in. We're talking to some people over in Indo right now, trying to set up some different things. Um, so to go from there, um, to really try to get things rolling. Because I'm trying to get the locality Wagler's Vipers to get that stuff going. And then, because I think it just seems like we keep losing more and more shit. So it's like, We need to start establishing breeding colonies over here because, it's every year we seem to lose something, you know. Yeah, but no, hit me up. Let me know what you need on the on a payment plan. We can get you set up, no problem. Yeah, it's no problem at all. So, but all right, I gotta go make something to eat, guys. As always, good hanging out, and be ready for Wednesday so you guys can come on. Hold on, we got one more here. Since there's limited number of Halma F1s, I think we should almost use the female strictly for F2s and use males for morph crosses as much as possible to have the largest genetic gene pool of F. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. So, but all right, guys, good talking to everybody. I'm gonna go get something to eat, and I'll try to jump on here tomorrow as well.